You're listening to Something Cheeky,
a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, the Gentleman Bastards edition, where we discuss the Lies of Locke Lamora, book 1 of the series by Scott Lynch. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Today we're covering the 6th interlude, Brat Masterpiece. In this chapter, Jean avoids death by Rosebush and meets his Mr. Miyagi. Rosanna, what was a revelation for you in this interlude?
I think the biggest revelation about Jean that we got was we found out in the last interlude that he's got this temper, but the revelation is that he was sent to a top level trainer to learn how to sort of harness and focus his temper.
Right.
And learn to be a really, really good fighter. And then a slightly less obvious but also important revelation was about Sabbatha and her part in the Gentleman Bastards as the charmer.
Yes. What was your favorite quote?
Okay, this is a quote not by a character, but as part of the text of the interlude. Okay, so my quote from this interlude has the word, and I'm not sure how to say it, Angevine or Angevine?
I'm going to say Angevine.
And maybe somebody listening knows how to pronounce this word, if it's even a real word.
A made-up word? Can you tell us?
Can someone tell us how to pronounce this made-up word? I think there's only one person that could actually tell us how to pronounce it. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get him on the show. Okay, so here's my quote. He'd gone over the Angevine on a glass cat bridge, no wider than his hips, clinging to the guide ropes with sweaty hands for all 600 feet of the crossing. Okay, that sounds terrifying. And then on top of that, he's been told he's going to be going there every day.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to cross this. It's like a thick piece of glass.
Basically.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
600 feet he has to cross.
And do you remember from previous chapters where they said the Duke has a command that says if someone's going the wrong way on the cat bridge, you can push them off?
They said that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I missed
that. By
the
Duke's command, you're allowed to if someone's going the wrong way. So you don't want to be drunk and try to cross it and accidentally enter the wrong direction.
That's horrible. Okay, just reading that sentence, made me feel cold. It was so, I'm scared of heights anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This to me just sounds so scary. And then to have to do it every day.
Right.
And so you're not even just going to do it every day. You're going to go, and then you're going to have to learn how to fight in a crazy pokey glass house. And then you're going to have to cross it back to go home.
When you're probably exhausted.
I'm sure. This to me sounds horrible. And I know from the chapters as opposed to the interludes that Jean survives, obviously, and apparently did really well in his training. But he's got to have a real strong, inner, I don't even know what to call it.
Just inner strength.
Mm-hmm. Yes, just be really strong, and not let, and not to not be afraid, but to not let the fear paralyze him. Because I don't know that I would be able to cross that.
That could possibly be part of his training. Just
could be.
The trip there.
That could be. Who would want to live at the end of that? People that don't want visitors.
Well, they described it as the most glorious building of Elderglass.
Yeah, but yeah. Scary to get to. I don't know if that would be worth it.
We get to see Father Chains again, which is really nice. I now really appreciate every time he appears. And he calls Jean and Locke his Brat Masterpieces.
Yes, he does.
Which is adorable. He says you can't always smile your way out of a fight to Locke.
Yeah.
That's why Locke is going to have to learn how to kill people too.
And Father Chains doesn't try to give them any sort of false compliments.
Right.
He's like, you're not good at this, so we're going to have to figure out a way around that.
We get a nice kind of description of how Father Chains sees each of the Gentleman Bastards, including Sabbatha, which I'll read because I really liked it. Chains turned to regard Jean. We all know you've got the sort of temper that cracks skulls when it's off the leash. We've got a properly evil brain in Locke here, a fantastic liar. Calbo and Galder were silver at all trades and gold at none. Sabbatha's the born queen of all the charmers that ever lived, but what we don't have yet is a plain old bruiser. I think it could be you, a stand-up brawler to keep your friends out of trouble. A real rabid dog bastard with steel in your hand. Care to give it a go? He really talks Gene up.
Yeah, he does.
To get him. Yeah. Gene is definitely in. But it's nice that he gives him all the compliments. So it's not just that they're missing that person.
Yeah, and also says, can you be this person? Do you want to be this person?
Gene's response is so sweet. Well, if you think that would be good, I can try. It's really great. It's a nice little back and forth with the two of them.
Yeah, it is.
I enjoyed Shane saying he's definitely going to teach Locke to fight, but mostly in dark alleys from behind, where he can use his inherent sneakiness to get people.
Yeah, he really has to have sort of his opponent at a handicap just to start.
Right.
If he's not very good at it.
He's good at words, but that's not so much the physical part.
Though I feel like by the time we get to the present in the chapters, he probably has gotten a lot better at it. At
probably.
Fighting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But maybe not when he was a small 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Or 10 or whatever.
Gene is going to train 4 times a week at the House of Glass Roses, which sounds like a really exclusive club.
Yeah.
The Don Maranzalla, I'm going to say. On Gene's first trip there, he has to have a special sigil in a wallet just to get to that part of town.
Yeah.
It's that exclusive. And the Yellow Jackets that let him through kind of pity him, and they also are afraid of the Don, obviously. Mm-hmm. They just shuffle him right on through to go.
Yep.
So, this Don Maranzalla, he was the Duke's personal sword master. He commanded the Black Jackets, which we haven't heard of before. Mm-hmm. Sounds like just a more exclusive force of guards, maybe? Maybe those are the Duke's guards.
And what were they called when Locke and one of the twins were pretending to be
the Midnighters.
The Midnighters. So Midnighters and then Black Jackets. Boy, there are a lot of different... It's almost like branches of the military. Like, these are the Yellow Jackets. These are the Black Jackets. These are the ones that sail. These are the ones that fly.
And the Don did that for 25 years. And he talks about Chains at a different point, and I always wonder how Chains met these people.
Yeah, because they don't seem like they run in the same circles.
No, not at all. Also, opposing forces. Chains is a thief, basically.
Right.
So at some point, I mean, obviously he has a nice sense of humor, which we don't learn at first.
Right.
But
I wonder if Father Chains was just really, like, okay, so Gene's the bruiser, and Locke's the brain, and the twins are the silver medalists, and Sabbatha's the charmer, and Father Chains is just the king of being in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, maybe.
And just doing the right people favors? Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like that's how he's getting in with some of these people, is they owe him for something.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could also be from his youth that he met them. Because it sounded like he met Capa in their youth, and we know Capa went to, he was a scholar at a collegium.
But even that only goes so far.
That's true. I kind of want Father Chains to be a member of some secret skull club or something.
Yeah.
Like, what's Harvard's secret? Aren't they the skulls? Wasn't there a whole movie about that in the 90s?
I don't know, Nikki. It's a secret.
There was a secret society. It's always a bunch of rich frat boys that are just going off the rails. But sometimes it's fun. Gilmore Girls' version was fun.
Yes, definitely.
What are they called? The Upright Citizens Brigade? Something like that?
Is that what they call it? Man, they are so preppy. You know what I mean? I mean, they're just like so... Yeah, I don't even know how else to explain it.
They're just so rich.
Yeah, that's probably it. Mm-hmm. So yes, I would love if Father Chains was part of a secret society. And that's why people did him favors.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Luke should start a secret society. That would be awesome. I guess he kind of does.
Kinda, yeah.
The Gentleman Bastards is basically a secret society.
Yeah.
No one really knows they're in it. They just think it's something completely separate.
Right.
Let's talk about the Don for a moment.
Okay.
The description of him just made me think Sam Elliott, the actor. And I couldn't remember his name. I could only remember Sam. So I was trying to find him. So I just Googled cowboy actor Sam. And he popped right up.
Oh, I'm sure it did. That's funny.
But that's how I pictured him. But he is an amazing fighter. I loved his sense of humor. Mm-hmm.
I did
And that
too.
he was so reassuring to Gene. Yeah. Even though he had to talk down to him in front of the other boys.
Yeah. And was testing him a little bit. Just to really see his reaction.
Oh, and he baited him to get that temper out. That was great.
I was so worried that And I don't know why I was, because based on the last chapter, obviously Gene has that temper. But also, he took that out on a boy. I didn't know how he was going to deal with a man, and I didn't think he was going to stand up for himself, and I was really worried about him. And then he did, and I was like, oh, thank goodness.
I feel like we learned so much more about Gene than we did in the interlude called Gene Tannen.
Yeah.
We learned about his background, but here we really get to the meat of him.
More of his personality than his background. Yeah.
Definitely. So this house of glass roses sounds beautiful. From how it described it, I was picturing basically a stone building, but all the mortar is elderglass.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounded amazing.
It sounds scary.
The garden.
Yeah.
What did they call that garden? The hungry garden, they called it. The garden without fragrance.
Yes, the garden without fragrance.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of carved blossoms, even the thorns, that were slowly turning red because of the blood they picked up. That is amazing.
Who comes up with this stuff? I mean, like, the people that the ancients or aliens or elders or
the Eldrin?
Yes, that created this.
Mm-hmm.
Were they just like, let's make some walls that drink blood? Oh, good idea. Let's make them look like roses. What? What?
And it doesn't even sound like they were there that long ago. Gene mentions 1,000 years before he was born.
Yeah, that's not that long.
Yeah, in human history, at least in our Earth, that's not a super long time. So I wonder if humans in Gilmore, the whole area, the Seven Marrows, I think the country's called, if they lived at the same time as the Eldrin, or if there was a completely separate timeline. I don't know.
This is definitely something that if I was reading this book on my own, I would look up. But I am not allowed to do that, so...
You would have just read the Wikipedia pages by now?
Yes, of course. Or I would have finished the book a long time ago.
I do love books that have more of a background than just the people we're talking about, that there's something else going on. I wouldn't even call the whole Eldrin thing a subplot, really, but it's just history about the place.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the history of the people that we're seeing.
I like having that as more of a basis. Just gives more interest to different points of the story.
Yeah.
The Dawn even feeds the blood from the edge of the sword that stabbed the boy to the roses at one point. So casual about it. Gene is just kind of horrified by it.
Yeah, it's disturbing. It is.
It seems kind of perfect that that's a place where people learn to fight. Something that drinks blood. It's a bit meta, really.
It seems like a very scary place to learn to fight. Because you could just die.
Just going there is dangerous. Being there is dangerous. And so is learning to fight and just learning that entire act. I like that. Layers upon layers. Gene seems a bit nervous when he's on his way there, too. It said, when he was talking about the roses, despite their scintillating danger, the roses were inanimate and unthinking. How could he have the heart of a killer if he feared to walk among them? Just imagine a 10-year-old boy wondering if he has the heart of a killer like he needs to have.
I know. But he must.
One other thing about the Eldrin, there was a quote that said, how many other alien surprises had they left behind for men to stumble over?
Yeah, every time they mention them, it's very sort of offhand, but that's good stuff. I'd like to know more about that too.
I love imagining just things all over the place that haven't even been discovered yet. Some cave somewhere that's just got Elderglass tunnels through it, or different places.
And what happened to these people? Did they die out? Are they extinct? Did they move on to another place on Earth, or whatever this planet is, to a different planet?
Maybe they went to Atlantis.
That seems actually really possible.
Maybe Atlantis is just built of Elderglass under the sea somewhere.
That would work.
I like that picture in my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's really dark, so it wouldn't matter.
Well, they have... what would false light look like in the deep sea?
Yeah.
Because we're still not quite sure if it catches the actual sun.
Right, where does it get its light?
Own light.
Is it self-illuminating? Or does it suck it in from outside? It seems like it takes it from other places.
It does.
Sort of like the Deluminator in Harry Potter.
The light putter-outer?
Yeah. Yes. That's another name for it. Yeah, I don't know. And I always worry when we talk about this that it's something that we're just supposed to accept and there's not going to be an explanation. I worry about that.
Yeah.
These are things I want to know.
Well, there are supposed to be a lot of books.
Okay. But we're halfway through this one.
Right.
So.
There's supposed to be a total of 7 books. There are 3 out so far. Okay. And I think that 7 does not include the prequel that's coming out, which I'm actually really sad about. I had pre-ordered it, and I just got a thing from, because the date kept getting pushed back, and then I got a thing from Amazon that said it was canceling my order, my pre-order.
Oh.
And then I went and looked up, I just had to Google the heck out of it to try to see when the heck it's actually coming out. And on maybe his blog or Instagram or something, Scott Lynch posted that he's not even quite finished. So he's not sure why it even said it was coming out in the first place. Yeah. He said book databases make no sense. So now I was so excited to be able to read it soon, because it said March 1st for the longest time. It was coming out, so I was just waiting, and then that day came and went, and...
So he stopped writing the main series to write the prequel?
Maybe. I'm not positive how maybe he's going back and forth. Maybe he's like me, where he reads multiple books or writes multiple books at the same time.
Many projects going at once. Mm-hmm. Maybe so.
All over the place.
Maybe he got to a point in the books where he's like, I really need to get this other stuff down while I have it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
He also recently got married, I think. So maybe he's taking some time.
We should probably tell his wife to stop distracting him so he can finish his business.
She's also an author.
Well, she needs to go write her own book and leave him alone.
The Don baited Gene into losing his temper, and it seems like maybe one of the best things that Chains has done for Gene is to let him learn how to manage his temper. Yes. Concentrate on what's at hand. Yeah. Gene's great at a lot of stuff, but that is his one big failing that we know about him at this point. Mm-hmm. And that, sure, losing your temper can make you a berserker for a minute in a fight, but beyond that, you just lose control. Yeah. So having that skill, learning that skill, like it seems like he's going to, is going to give him a massive edge, I think, in fights. And
also with a temper like that, if you can't control it, you end up causing a lot of damage in a very short amount of time that takes you a long time to fix.
Mm-hmm. He could completely ruin a con if someone said something and he couldn't hold his temper because he wasn't supposed to be offended by something because he's playing a different character. I mean, that could totally ruin everything.
Yeah. And how does Father Chains know how to raise kids? Yeah. Right? I mean, he's not just teaching them, he's raising them. How does he know what they have the potential to be? Somehow he can see it.
He's the thief whisperer.
He's something like that.
Gene is not going to learn the gentlemanly art of fencing, like the rich boys. He's going to learn how to kill a man with a sword. Yeah. Which is pretty different when you think about it.
Yes. This is not a sport.
Yeah, I always used to think I could go learn karate or something and then I could fight if someone attacked me, but that's not really how that works.
No.
It's different. No one's going to wait their turn.
Right. Or follow the rules.
Right. Yeah. He's going to learn how to fight dirty. Yep. And do it well. When does he graduate to hatchets? He's learning a sword. I want to know.
I think it's going to take him a while.
Probably has to master the art of the sword first before he gets the Wicked Sisters. Yeah. How long do you think he's going to train with the Dawn? I don't think Father Chains gave it an end date.
I don't think he did either. And I bet they probably just have to see how he does. But I bet it's going to take years. It seems like.
That seems like something that a man like that Dawn would really enjoy doing. Yeah. After having to be so controlled and so obsequious to all the stupid rich kids. Yes. He gets to really, well, maybe not obsequious, because he seems pretty strict. So they probably do whatever he says.
But he probably still has to filter himself quite a bit.
Right. Yeah. But he gets to do the fun stuff. Let me teach you how to gouge out an eye.
It's so fun. But yeah, somebody that spent their career doing that. Probably wants to show off a little bit even.
There was one thing that Gene said that I really liked. After he realized that the Dawn wasn't actually a mean son of a bitch. Gene giggled despite himself. I wonder if I'll ever meet anyone who is what they seem to be. Ever again, my lord.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, at this point, will Gene ever be what he seems to be either?
Well, I think it depends on who he's with. Because I think who he seems to be in the burrow is exactly who he is.
Right.
But I don't know how many people actually get to see that side of him.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the other gentleman bastards.
I love to imagine that Gene has some secret girlfriend somewhere, that he gets to read her all his flowery poetry.
I really want him to have a girl.
And they're so sweet together. And and he gets to be as sentimental as he wants to be without the twins making fun of him. And I keep imagining Rosie, the Hobbit that Samwell marries.
Oh.
She's just a sweet country girl, very pretty, very farm girl kind of milkmaid type girl. Down to earth, but good, just good.
Yes.
I imagine Gene with a girl like that.
He deserves somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next week, we're going to read Chapter 7, called Out the Window.
Oh, dear.
The following interlude, called Up the River. Do you have any predictions based on Out the Window and Up the River? They're both going places.
Out the Window.
Mm-hmm.
I think could go two ways. One, Locke might say, you know what, guys? We've got an awful lot going on. Maybe we should throw this Don Salvari game out the window. Maybe we should just call it off. We've gotten what we're going to get. I've got to pay attention to how to be in two places at once.
Mm-hmm.
My other thought would be someone is literally going to be thrown out a window.
Oh, God.
And it could be both things. I don't know who, I don't know why, but it would not surprise me if somebody actually did get thrown out of a window. Or maybe it has something to do with the bird.
Okay.
Flying out a window.
So you're going super literal.
I am,
with a couple of these.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very literal. And then give me the other one again.
Up the river. It's the interlude, so it's going to be past.
So when the whole crew were going to pay taxes, they were going south, right?
I think so. I'm not positive.
Okay. So I'm going to guess that up the river means they're going north.
Oh, more literal. Okay.
Yes. And that the gentleman bastards, I'm going to call them the juvenile gentleman bastards, maybe are starting to learn about the nicer areas.
Just think of the Gentleman Bastards youth group.
Yes, exactly. The Gentleman Bastards Boys Club of America. So maybe they're going to start learning about interacting with the higher brow society.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're moving up the river, like, to nicer neighborhoods.
Okay.
That doesn't seem like it's very likely now that I say it. Also, up the river means going to jail, right? Mm-hmm. Or is that down the river?
Oh, maybe that is down the river.
Something about a river.
So there's being sold up the river, so somebody basically betrays you. And then there's up the river without a paddle.
Yeah.
So screwed.
Yeah.
I think jail is down the river,
okay. I think that I don't worry too much about what's going to happen to the kids in the interludes.
Mm-hmm.
For one, because they're okay in the present.
Right.
And for another, I think the whole point of these interludes is to show their education.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're learning about them, and we're learning about them learning.
And their relationship building, too.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So I'm not too concerned about it being up the river without a paddle or, you know, being betrayed or anything like that. I'm not too worried about that. Hopefully, Scott Lynch will not have decided to lull me into a false sense of security.
Oh, God.
In the interludes. Hopefully, it will remain semi-chill.
The Sansa twins are actually ghosts.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
I would totally be down for some ghosts, but not them. I want them to remain alive. But I wouldn't be mad if there were ghosts also. You just throw whatever in you want. Just toss that right in.
Poltergeist floating around everywhere.
Sure, why not? I think that Capa Barsavi should have a poltergeist that, not that works for him, that drives him crazy.
Oh, I love it.
Wouldn't it be perfect?
Yes.
Just to have somebody around that he has no control over because he can't even kill him? That just, like, throws stuff at him and calls him mean things?
Pretty sure that would turn this into a comedy.
Alright, that's a fair point. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have any predictions just in general about what's going to happen in the future of the book? So we're about halfway through now.
I mean, Sabbatha, right? I mean, just always back to Sabbatha. Where is she? In the present, why is she 1,000 miles away? What is 1,000 miles away?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, what's even there? She's got to show up in an interlude. I keep saying that, and I'm always wrong. But
we're getting mentions of her basically in every chapter and interlude.
But it's just such a small little portion.
It's such a tease.
It really is.
It's a serious tease.
Also, so I know that when we talked about what Locke looks like, he's just a very medium general. Mm-hmm. So, do we know his coloring?
No, when they were talking about him being able to pass Vadron or Theron, they said I can't remember which one was which, but something like a dark Theron or a light Vadron or the other way around. Okay. So I think he's just medium coloring too.
So that makes me think about Sabbatha, that and also based on what was the name of the gal in the last chapter that Locke went to see at the end? Felicia?
Felice.
So based on what she said, and then also what we hear about Sabbatha, there probably aren't a lot of redheads in this area, and so I wonder if Sabbatha is not local.
Oh, maybe.
So maybe where she is...
Is there an Ireland in Gilmore?
Maybe where she is where she's from?
Oh.
I don't know.
Are we assuming she's also an orphan?
I don't know why we wouldn't at this point.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at SomeCheek.
And visit our website to send us questions and to learn about other podcasts. The website is somethingcheekypodcast.com.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.